Impounding congressional funds.
Violates the law.
Invoking emergency powers when there is no emergency.
Unlawful.
Sending troops without an invite.
Violates the law.
Covering for pedophiles.
If you could speak directly to Marjorie Taylor Greene, what would you tell her?
I would tell her that she needs to maybe watch PBS and learn how to read.
We're in the middle of getting ready to vote, so we can't do that right now. We can do that after.
Is that the rule? Because the clerk has not been ready for the last 15 minutes almost.
You're not recognized. Thank you.
So we're not doing unanimous consent.
Not in the middle of a motion to table and a recorded vote we're preparing to take.
Is the clerk seated?
You are not recognized right now. Thank you.
Okay, since we're sitting here in silence for the...
You are not recognized, and there's no point of inquiry. You are not recognized.
Okay, I'll do a point of inquiry.
Okay.
I am seeking an inquiry to determine whether or not it is okay to put it into the record that at the time that this motion was called, only Mr. Gosar, Mr. Grothman, Mr. Higgins, Mr. Fallon, and Mr. Crane, along with yourself, were the only Republicans that were actually in the room.
This is not a real point of inquiry. You're not recognized on it either. Thank you.
First of all, black people ain't had nothing to do with this. We wasn't nowhere near Utah. So I'm like, how was the response to go after black students? And it's interesting because I was talking to one of my best friends who graduated from Grambling. And I was like, is Grambling on lockdown? Because, it was just kind of, in the moment. And it's like we're getting these alerts about this school and that school, Hampton, and all these different schools. So I was like, what is happening? And I was like, and why are we in this, right? What is it that students on a HBCU campus have to do with this, right? That wasn't a place that... Let me point this out. We have had school shootings that have taken place on all types of campuses. And there are those, specifically on the right, that always want to put out this idea that black folk are dangerous and criminal, and we just have more of a propensity to commit crimes and things like that. Do you know how many school shootings we've had at a HBCU? 0. One of the safest campus that you can be, a safe haven. And it is interesting because those campuses were created out of kind of this segregation idea, but we don't do that. As soon as it happened, then the next thing you know, the trans community is under attack again, right? Because they said that the Minnesota shooting was a trans woman, I believe. And so because it was a trans person, they're like, oh, this is what happens. But I was like, so we're not going to talk about white supremacy? We're not going to talk about the fact that the vast majority of these shootings, whether they are seen as political or not, if we look at the numbers, white supremacy ideology. But we don't want to do anything about that. There's no legislation that they want to bring. Every time you say white supremacy, they want to yell, oh, you're race baiting. No, I am going on facts. These crimes, when we look at these mass shootings, most of them are linked to neo-Nazism or, Proud Boys or whatever. It's always some white supremacy kind of thing that's going on. It's not black folk that are going out there. It's not immigrants that are going out there. But what cities are we going into? Black cities, because we are supposedly the ones that commit all the crime. Which people are we going after? Immigrants, because allegedly it's immigrants, but we don't want to have a talk about what the numbers say, what the facts say, which is that we have a white supremacy problem in this country. So until we decide to deal with the problem, we're going to continue to have a problem.
Next time, tell your big boy to show up and be ready to handle the woman in the room who hopefully will become the next president of the United States. The American people are woke enough to recognize that there is nothing good in it for them, because then you can't have a simple-minded, underqualified somehow end up ascending. Instead, you've got to pay attention to the qualified black woman that is on the other side. And with that, I will yield.
The reality is this. I got a few names for you if you want to start going through names, and you tell me which one of these names you've decided to do any type of legislation behind. We've got Virginia Guffrey. We've got Annie Farmer. We've got Maria Farmer. We've got Courtney Wild, Michelle Licata, Jenna Lisa Jones, Jennifer Araz, Sarah Ransom, Shantae Davies, Carolyn Adriano. And the reality is that it's our understanding that there may be close to 1,000 victims of Epstein, Maxwell, and others. So stop playing these games and acting like you care about one particular situation. You take a situation and then you exploit what has happened to not only that person, but you exploit those families and you make it a game. Stop just throwing a random dead person's name on something for your own political expediency. If you want to start talking about actually solving something, then maybe we should go to the other campaign promises, the ones that allegedly gave y'all a mandate. When he said he was going to lower prices on day one, yet that didn't happen. When he said that he was going to be ending wars on day one, yet that didn't happen. Where he said that he was going to save the American people, yet that didn't happen. Because as we know, in that big ugly bill that every single one of you voted for, except for Mr. Massey, because he seemingly is the only one that's got any sense over there. Y'all voted for that bill. And the last time I checked, it's driving us further into debt while kicking people off of their health care, in addition to making sure that billionaires, which I would not be surprised if we start to roll out those names, and a number of those same billionaires, because these weren't they weren't $2 Johns. That's not what I got from the information. So stop telling us that you care. Show us that you care. Show those survivors that you care. Sign the daggone discharge petition, sit down and hear their stories, and then tell them to their faces that because your leader does not want to talk about this, that is who you have pledged your loyalty to and your fealty to, and you're not going to protect them, and you're not going to protect others that are suffering right now and others that will suffer in the future, and I will yield.